No friends, no relationship, no social life. We've all been there. I like to say we've all been there. I know I've been there plenty of times in my life. But it wasn't about me not being in a relationship or not having friends or a social life. It was more about what was I doing with the time during those periods? What was I doing with myself? Was I working towards something? Was I being purposeful? Was I getting closer to God? Was I fulfilling that time with some type of activity that was beneficial for me? That's what I think about. Because it's okay to not have any of those things. It's okay to not have friends. It's okay to not have a relationship. It's okay to not really have a social life. But if the reason is you don't have those things because you're just staying in the house and you're sitting around, you're moping and feeling sorry for yourself, then that's the issue. That's the problem. You see, when I was experiencing those things in my life, those moments in my life, it wasn't because I was sitting around the house moping. It was a direct result from me putting my time and attention into something. I couldn't deal with women because I was so busy on being purposeful. I didn't really have friends that I was talking to because I was so focused on achieving goals. So because I was alone, I didn't feel lonely. And there's a difference because you can be content with being alone, but it's hard to be content when you're lonely. Lonely has nothing to do with being alone. You can be you could be lonely in your aloneness, but you can also be lonely when you're with someone. People can be in a relationship and feel lonely, feel like all they have is themselves. So you have to be able to separate the two and understand why you're feeling that way. Mine was because I was focused on being purposeful. What's your reason? If you're feeling that way, then you need to get out and socialize. And you may ask yourself, Corey, how do I socialize? What do I do? How do I meet people? You find people with common interests that you have. Most of my friends, I'm from California. I'm from the West Coast. I'm from Northern California, closer to the Bay, like an hour and 15 minutes east from San Francisco. But I live now in Florida. I live in Tampa. When I moved to Tampa, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends. I had no social life. I had no woman. I didn't have any of that. But it allowed me to focus on my career. It allowed me to focus on doing external things that could make me more money. I focused on getting money. What do you focus on? You have to have some type of activity. You don't have to be focusing on money, but you should be putting that energy towards something purposeful. Because if you just sit around, then you're going to feel sorry for yourself. You're going to create negative thoughts. You're going to find yourself not worthy. Or you're going to try to consume your time chasing women or chasing men because you're going to be trying to fulfill this cup. You're going to be trying to fill this hole, this gap in your life. And you're going to find out that these women that you're chasing or these men that you're chasing is all temporary. They don't really feel that emptiness. It's all temporary. In that moment, they may give you some type of comfort, companionship. But once they leave, or once you have that post nut clarity, you're going to realize how empty you still are. And that's because you're not doing anything purposeful, meaningful, something that means something to you, something that you're interested in. I spent time getting closer to God. I spent time trying to grow my YouTube. I spent time trying to find other ways to make money. So it's all about what you do with that time when you have no friends, no relationship, or no social life. Because We should be okay with being alone, but we shouldn't allow ourselves to be lonely. Now, back to how do you find friends? Similar interests. When I moved to Florida, I'm a basketball player. So I went out looking for courts where fellas were playing basketball, or I maybe would see somebody in Walmart or in Publix, and I asked them if they look like a hooper. I asked them, "Yo, where y'all be playing ball at? What time y'all be playing ball at? Where's the park? Where's the gym?" I start hooping with them, playing with them every day. And then you start to build connection with people. You start to get friends out of that. So we have a big group. We have a whole WhatsApp group, just us hoopers. And sometimes we go out to eat together. We just a few weeks ago went paintballing, so you have to go find people that have similar interests as you do, common interests. That's how you rally around each other. Your friends are usually people that you have some type of common interest with. So you got to find sites that allows you to find those people. Find your people. There's meetup.com. I used to use when I was trying to build a business. I used to use meetup.com to find meetings that other entrepreneurs were having, events that I could go to for entrepreneurs. And I would go to these events and I would network. I was doing this in college. I would go to these events. I went to an event in Chicago one time, met Damon John, I believe that's his name, the inventor of Fubu, who's on Shark Tank, the African American fella. So I put myself in these spaces so that I can meet people, that I can network people, because we shared a common interest. So because you don't have any of these things, that doesn't mean you have to be lonely. We have to get that out of our head. And we need to understand that this is all something that we can change for ourselves. When you are moping around feeling sorry for yourself, you're feeling like this is something that you can't fix or you have no control over, when you have all the control in the world over this. You alone can change your circumstance. But it's going to require you to put yourself out there. And yes, I'm a little bit introverted. So I don't want to hear the excuses of I'm an introvert and I don't like people. I don't want to socialize because I'm an introvert. Well, I'm not fully an introvert. I'm somewhat of a hybrid, but I would say I lean more percentage wise towards being an introvert. So I'm not trying to get on y'all. I just want us to change the way we think, change the way we approach life so that we can experience more happiness and more joy. But I thank you guys. I hope this helps a little bit. If we're going to bring it all back, I want us to focus on not so much on the fact that we don't have a relationship or we don't have any friends or a social life, but I want us to focus more on what we're doing with the time during those moments. What are we doing during those moments? Are we growing? Are we developing? Are we becoming a better version of ourselves? What are we doing? We shouldn't be sitting around crying, moping, wishing, hoping for somebody to save us. That's not what we should be doing. Find purpose. Find purpose. But I thank you guys for checking out this video. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to spend your time here with me, and I appreciate that. I just ask that you guys subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. I always respond. Please, that's all I ask. Hit the notification bell so you're in tune when every video gets dropped or any type of content. I want to do more. I kind of want to get into live streaming so I can interact with you guys more, talk to you guys more. I can go across a lot more subjects in a live stream. It isn't as structured as a video. So I want to do more. I love engagement. I want you guys to engage with me, engage with other people in the comments. But yeah, that's all I ask, and that is free. All that stuff is free. But I thank you guys. I'm gonna have more content on the way per usual. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.